to see each and every one of you. And
Oh,
we
no, we're not ready yet.
I got it.
Not that, we're not that ready.
Okay.
We're ready.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
Are we ready now?
Yes.
We're
Good
ready now.
morning. It's good to see
Morning.
each and every one of you for our pre-council meeting, and we will turn it over now to our very capable city clerk.
This is the pre-meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, December the 8th. We have approval of minutes from December 1st.
Good job.
Outstanding. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Appeals, we have requests for waiver of the noise ordinance on December 23rd from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. And this is in Mardi Gras Park.
I don't have an issue.
I guess my only question was to make sure that these guys don't think that it is during, we do have Christmas decorations and people out there, and while we give them the ability to make noise, the permitting is an important piece of what they're allowed and all that. Any ordinary time, I wouldn't say anything at all, but I can just see them taking over the Christmas tree area and say, we have a permit, from the council, permission from the council to be here. And it ought to be all respectful is all.
Will they have to go through Parks and Recreation to get the permit from Park
Right.
Space?
Right, they do have it, yeah.
Yeah, but I would think it needs to be very specific. You know what I'm saying? If they just get a ability to use the park without any specifics while there's a Christmas tree there and a celebration by the city. I do have my dates right, don't I? I think it's
Yeah.
like the 23rd.
It's the 23rd. Yes, sir.
Yeah, very much
I
being,
mean, it has a
Busy
potential
time.
to be a conflict that we would not want during this festive time, most holy time of our church years.
I would hope that the Parks Department kind of pointed it out, or that would be their responsibility, correct?
I just hate for it to be an oversight and there'd be an issue to many of our guests. So maybe somebody's watching. That's all right.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Madam City Clerk.
Okay. Public hearings today is a public hearing to consider approval of a certificate of public convenience and necessity to Tanya Nicholson, doing business as Busy Bees Carrier and Transportation Service for a shuttle service. Public hearing to consider assenting to the vacation of a portion of South Conception Street west of Metro Jail and to a portion of St. Emmanuel Street east of Metro Jail. No.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. I presume we do have, the attorneys for the county are on.
Let's rock and roll.
So, okay, everything is good. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank y'all.
Thanks,
Okay.
Jay. Merry Christmas.
Thank you,
Presentation.
Justice Williams.
Are we gonna,
presentation of-
wait. We can kind of get to it, but when this item comes up, are we gonna go ahead and vote on it today?
Yes, sir.
I don't see a
I'm
reason why
prepared.
not. I don't see a reason why not.
It's
It's a
been in the
long-
public domain for
Yeah.
months.
Mhm.
It's been in our domain for over a month. Let's go.
Few months.
Domain.
I'll take short best.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. We haven't received any notification of anyone requesting to speak today.
We are cooking with gas. It's too late.
Essential COVID-19 items held over. 4759, declare the structure at 324 Lexington Avenue a public nuisance and order it demolished. 08866, approve purchase order to truck equipment sales for animal control, F-250. 08-867, approved purchase order to UJ Chevrolet for Tahoe. 08-868, approved purchase order to UJ Chevrolet for Suburban.
Okay, now,
08-869,
hold on. We found out where the first vehicle was going to animal control. Where are these other vehicles going?
motor pool.
I think they were police, if I'm not mistaken, but I
There is
have
a
a
police,
question too.
there's a police vehicle also.
Is that further down or are these two?
It should be, hold on.
It's the next one.
There's, I have a question if also.
It's on
M-
this
well,
one.
You have a question now, Ms. Rich?
Yeah, it deals with this. I noticed
Go
that.
ahead.
Thanks. And I just need clarification. I noticed that these bids, not so much, I'm not sure about the one that's going to the animal shelter, but the other two were bid based on up to a certain number being possibly ordered. So my question is, do they each come back as they're ordered, or are we approving that up to at this point? Because one was for, I think, 20 vehicles that came in at that price. And I'm not able, because I'm using my big iPad to talk to this council right now. So someone just needs to tell me if it's going to come back for each expenditure or whether we've approved all those vehicles and it won't come back again.
Ms. Rich, this is John Payne.
Yes.
You guys are doing two things at this point. You're approving the award of the bid, and you're approving the purchase of one each of the vehicles. If we come back and buy additional vehicles off of these contracts or these bids, you guys will be getting you will be seeing those purchase orders before we issue them.
Right now.
So does it come back as a council approval or just knowledge based?
It'll be coming back for council approval, ma'am.
Okay, that was my question. I just didn't know when I saw that it was actually a package of up to. Thank you for that clarification.
Sure thing, ma'am.
Okay, 08-869, approved purchase order to Dana Safety Supply for 43 LED equipped police vehicle push bumpers. 08-870, approved purchase order to Gray Bar Electric for 6 24-foot traffic signal poles. 08-871, approved purchase order to Gray Bar Electric for 4 traffic signal poles. 08-872, approved purchase order to Gray Bar Electric for 4 traffic signal poles, various sizes. 21-873, authorized contract amendment with McDonald, Alabama, LLC for engineering services, Dolphin Street. 60-879, authorized the sale or lease of property at 2662 Fillingham Street. Essential COVID-19 items being introduced for the first time. 88041, ordinance deeming vacant landlocked parcel at O'Connor Street and Leslie Avenue no longer needed for public or municipal purpose and authorizing the sale to Helena Massey. 88042, ordinance deeming property at 901 Lyons Street not now needed for public or municipal purposes and authorizing the sale to Alabama Community College System. 08-885, authorized agreement with Mobile Baykeeper for the EPA Gulf of Mexico Trash-Free Waters Grant Project, $172,380.
Okay, can someone tell me what are they going to do for us? Are they going to be the ones getting the trash out?
Public outreach.
Councilman Williams is correct. This effort is associated with public outreach. It's associated with radio, billboard, advertising, and then public school outreach and education within the public schools as the COVID practices allow.
All right, okay.
08-886, approved purchase order to Protect Video for remote camera system software and annual license, $150,276. 08887, approved purchase order for annual license renewal for forensic and intelligence extraction decryption software, $132,635. 21888, authorized contract with Sawgrass Consulting for engineering, design, and construction inspection services for 2020 PAYGO and 2021 CIP research.
21888. I want somebody to talk to me about the DBE.
Good morning.
That's where I am. I hadn't finished reading it, Mr. Richardson. I'm still reading it.
Oh, read on.
For 2021 CIP resurfacing, $962,600.
Good morning. The consultant, Sawgrass Consulting, has selected Vanguard Pacific, which actually serves twofold. They are a service-disabled veteran-owned business as well as a U.S. Small Business Administration 8A certified business, which means they are a disadvantaged business as well.
Okay.
And
I was just trying to make sure this was a disadvantaged business, not a minority business.
Yes, sir.
It's a different. This is a disadvantaged enterprise.
They are a disadvantaged business as well as a service-disabled veteran-owned business.
Okay, all right. I said that's rock and roll. Okay.
And they do have 15% of the contract to perform construction management as well as inspection for the project.
Okay. Thank you.
21889, authorized contract with HM Young and Associates Consulting Engineers for Fire Station Number 3 mechanical improvements, $25,500. 21890, authorized performance contract with Visit Mobile to grow and develop tourism associated with the discovery of the Clotilda.
Can we get some background on that one?
David Clark is on.
Great.
All right.
Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Unmute.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all doing? This is an exciting opportunity, and thank you for your consideration for this performance contract. As you know, we've been collaborating for very significantly since March with the major stakeholders involved with the Clotilda. That would be the city, the county, the descendants of Africa Town, and many others. And we have all principally agreed to start a phase 1 water tour from Cooper Riverside Park, that to be transferred over to phase 2 to Africa Town for water tours and the like when the infrastructure is built at Africa Town. So we wanted to, the impetus behind this is let's turn this story into an experience. And let's get this thing going to where Africa Town can benefit and have the sustainability that they deserve. And if we do this right, and if we wrap ourselves around Africa Town, all of tourism benefits after that. So get our toes in the water, let's get going. It so happens to be that the Savannah College of Art and Design is very interested, and we've connected with them for, I think, a once in a lifetime opportunity. SCAD-Pro pairs the most exceptional, talented SCAD students of the world and professors to research and design and deliver an effective creative solution to a business opportunity. They only pick some of the most iconic projects in the world and companies to work with. They pick just a few projects a year, and they're very interested in partnering with our major stakeholders to bring this to life. And there'll be two things. And when I say major stakeholders that they worked with before in the world, Coca-Cola, Google, Fox Sports, NASA, Airbnb, Amazon, Delta Airlines, Porsche, Uber, YouTube, Whole Foods, just to name a few. But they take and they pick, they're very selective of who they partner with. And they want to partner with us to develop a film, a 15 to 20 minute film about the Clotilda, to show as we wish and to use as we wish The idea is to put it at Gulf Quest originally, the auditorium. Visitors would come see that in phase one. They would learn about the Clotilda journey in Africatown, and then jump on a boat and go up to where the general vicinity of the Clotilda was discovered, to the north side or south side of 12 Mile Island, and to have an immersive experience about the story. So there will be 2 phases: 1, a film; 2, a brand immersion to the sensory part of the story and storytelling, and to pair with our stakeholders for 4 to 6 months to bring that to life for a phase 1 water tour. The 3rd phase of this is a wayfinding for a tourism experience, for wayfinding signage and the like, sort of downtown centric, to make sure we have that piece right. I know many of you have been to Savannah, Georgia before. They do that very, very well. And that's sort of what the cake looks like without going into too many ingredients, but about 190,000 total. This would begin in January, where they'd have mostly professors come in with maybe a couple of students, about 10 or so, January 8th, which is a Friday, and Saturday morning. They come in and do an immersive kind of experience with film and folks. And then this would be over about a 5.5-month period of time to deliver all 3 of those phases for us.
David?
Ms. Rich?
Thank you. I read over the contract, and it keeps making reference to a performance contract, but in listening to you, there is something spelled out, and this is the first read, so we won't actually be voting on this, but would it be possible to please get the council your outline and where these funds will go, or the percentage of the funds? It seems like you've got it all together, but we don't have that in our documentation on what this performance will be and how it's measurable. So if that's something we could receive, that would be very helpful. It's good for the community to know. If it's based at Gulf Quest, the more information we have, the better when people are coming in and out, if it involves the community. But just the documents that we have in front of us spells out the amount and keeps using the word a performance contract. But I didn't know what that performance was going to be. But you obviously do, and we just need to get it in writing and spelled out to us.
Sure.
And you said this is which phase is the 190,000 taking up?
It's basically one agreement that encompasses those 3 projects, which is a high-grade film, 15 to 20-minute documentary, a brand immersive experience about the Clotilda experience of what tourism can look like, and then the wayfinding project. So it's those 3 projects. And
Does it
You're going
include
out.
the signage?
Your audio is not working.
Oh, well, it says it is, so.
It is. It's working here.
We hear clear.
Yeah, we can hear him.
Oh, you
Good,
hear-
Madam City Clerk.
Okay,
We hear.
sorry.
Oh, okay.
So
You
to your
can't
point,
go listen.
Councilman Rich, if
But
you-
anyway, so if we can get this all documented in writing, exactly what the performance will be, that will be very helpful for by next week.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Mr. President.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes, David.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me, David?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I am just thrilled that you're gonna have a part in this and trying to get the story out. I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, I want to say that OC and his wife Anna Keeby was on the Clotilda. Okay, and OC Keeby's granddaughter Helen Keeby married my dad's brother William Richardson. So I am an indirect ancestor of the Clotilda. I said that to say that I have a reason to be involved in this. I have here for you all to see the Barracoon, This book was written by Zora Neale Hurston, who interviewed Cudjoe Lewis when he was in his 80s. She interviewed him and took her months to get the full story. But I'm on page 54. When he got to Baldwin County, someone told them, had somebody that came up, they arrived in Baldwin County on a Sunday. Someone told them down to the Spanish River, and from the Spanish River over to the Mobile River. And I haven't heard. I went up on the. I hadn't even gotten this book, so I went up on the tour, and you were on the boat with me, David, when I went up there. So I went up front with the man who owned the boat, who knew the river, and he was explaining to me all about the river. And finally, he said, "Now this is the Spanish River here. We're past the Spanish River." And then that didn't mean much until he say, and the Clotilda was blowing right there, right over. Time you pass the Spanish River, over on the left is where the Clotilda was burned. Over on the right is where they put the 110 slaves off in the swamp. I knew when he told me, because when he told me this is the Spanish River, I knew that's what they did, because they were trying to bypass the federal government. They were trying not to go to prison. So they didn't leave. They could have gone on the Dauphin Island side, come on in the Mobile Bay in the Mobile. They were not doing that because they would have gotten caught. They went on down Chocolate, one of them other rivers, turned on the Spanish River, went over there. My point is this: I want the people to know how he got up there. He got up there by dodging the federal government that had blockaded the river, and how he did it. He knew his smokestack was going to turn him, people going to know what they were doing. Someone told him down the Spanish River. This is what Cudjoe Lewis is saying happened to them. That's what he's saying is happening to them. So as you put them on the boat and go up there, it's not enough to go up there to say, okay, Clotilda went down right here. They bypassed the federal government by coming down the Spanish River. When they got up there, they had to get rid of the evidence, which was the boat. They didn't want to burn up all of the people, to turn them loose over the swamp, burned the boat up and went on back home. And some days later, they went back up there and got them after they survived that swamp. And they had been, and Cudjoe said it was 70 days on the ocean trying to get here. So I want to be a part of that. I want to make sure that the whole story is told. That it's not that this is what the Clotilda was. They found the Clotilda right here. There's a whole lot of other things before they got up there. A whole lot of other things happened, and I want that to be a part of the story. That's all I'm going to say.
I put Fred on the boat. Let him in his next
Great
life.
point.
I would love every moment.
Councilman, I want all of you to mark your calendars for January 8th. To that point, and to Councilman Richardson's point, all that needs to be discussed, and that's a big part of the day. Also, just as a proposed route of a water tour going up the Spanish River is obviously being discussed as well. So that's how Clotilda went. So, yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Clark?
Mr. President.
Mr. Vice President.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Clark.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for bringing this to council. I'm very excited to hear about this project and this contract going forward. I have several questions. With this contract, you said they're going to take approximately 5.5 months. So within this 5.5 months, will we know at that time when we will be looking to go further with this project to make it, fruition? And also with this contract bringing in the feasibility study as in what this revenue, the projected revenue that, this would bring into our city. And do you know those two questions?
I do know the first question, Councilman Small, and that is that this contract this agreement will be fully executed to those 3 deliverables by May 24 and in hand. That would be a film, a total brand immersion experience in the wayfinding part. In terms of the second question, in terms of feasibility of revenue, that is not in this. I can just tell you that this will be the biggest tourism story for the next decade or two. It's way exceeds tens of millions of dollars of what the impact is if we do this right and build the tourism component of Africatown. So then helps Mobile on the back end of that. So it is, the revenue is at some point, you can expect 1 million visitors a year coming in to experience this story and to see the story at some point in the future when Africatown assets are fully built out. And why I know that, why I'm saying that, is the Equal Justice Initiative in their first year bringing that to life had 500,000 visitors. There were approximately 90,000 to 100,000 room nights generated just in the first year of that. So that's why I think.
Two other questions. When the Cotillo were found, we know that the state has that area protected. I believe it's the state. Are they going to contribute more, into this tourism project? And my second question is that I know that the city of Montgomery has the Lynching Museum, and I know people came from all the way from across the country, New York, and California, just to come to Montgomery. I know some people were in there but a day. They flew into Atlanta and drove over to Montgomery, then viewed the Lynching Museum, and then went back to Atlanta and flew back out. My question is to you is that the city of Montgomery, do you know exactly how many visitors have they had annually since they've been open, and also their revenue? And could we base that with Mobile versus them having something that they just, made up versus that we have the actually, artifacts and the area and et cetera?
Yeah, so I think, from what I hear, and we've been working closely with the State Department of Tourism, the Alabama Historical Commission, which to my understanding own the rights to the Clotilda and that discovery site, and they're protecting it. The impact of EJI has been about 500,000 visitors in the first year, and about 100,000 hotel room nights, and you can see that in the Smith Travel Star report of the lodging metrics of all the hotels reporting to that. Since that museum started, it had a huge impact on occupancy in Montgomery. It was from that attraction. So there's no way I can really quote a revenue kind of opportunity. But like I said earlier, I fully expect almost 1 million visitors a year down the road once the infrastructure is fully built at Africatown. The Heritage House is going to be open, it's my understanding, about next summer. And that's going to be a big piece of that. Not only are there going to be water tours and then the Heritage House to experience, but also land tours. And there's going to be a huge economic activities for those entrepreneurs wanting to start to be a part of all 3 of those phases and to build businesses and sustainability. And so, it's immeasurable revenue and opportunity for Africatown and the surrounding areas.
Okay, yeah, that's exciting to hear. And Madam Clerk, I'd like to be added as a sponsor on this also.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Mr. Richardson?
Yes, it's going to be my final comment on the Clotilda. In comparison to EJI, right as of this point, it's nothing up the river but water and land. And then they're just not going to come in that bigger group to see the water and the land. We got to give them something that they can feel. I was up there 2 weeks ago, I was in Montgomery, I went by the EJI, and it wasn't my first. I was up there for the grand opening, and it is just heart-wrenching when you read and see what happened in the state of Alabama as regards to lynching and what the folk was lynched for. They looked at somebody. But anyway, they dramatized what happened. You would have to be Ray Charles not to leave out of there disturbed over what has happened in the past. We have to stir up the same kind of emotion. They have nothing on us, but water and land is not going to do it. We got gold in our hand, but until we mine the gold, we're not going to get nothing out of it. All we need to do, and I've said this before, is go back to where they let those slaves off. According to Cudgel Lewis, once they got to the ship, they stripped all of their clothes off. Everybody had to put all of their clothes off. Men, women, children, all. And they kept the clothes off for the 70-day journey, day's journey. They didn't have any clothes. So they finally get to land. They finally get to land. So they dropped these slaves chained together in the swamp. And they left them there. All we have to do is go to 12 Mile Island, build us a station, enclose it with glass, put figurines in the swamp, just like the 110 people, put the chain on them, give them something that they can see, that the alligators be out there, that the snakes be out there, and let them see what they had to experience for those few days until they came back to get them. Then you're going to get the visitors come from here and there. We got the gold. We just have to mine the gold.
And this is the first step in mining that gold, Mr. Richardson. There are a lot of exciting plans that are being put together, and this is exciting in and of itself. I'm just as we have Mr. Clark on. The one thing I'm excited about all of this, incredibly excited, and glad that finally Africatown is getting the recognition that it deserves and that it's due, not only here locally but internationally and nationally. And Mr. Clark, I just would be mindful that we continue to stay, and I know you have, but I want to say it publicly, that we continue to engage as much as we can, wherever we can, with the citizens in that community, with the descendants that are connected with this story, so that we can make certain that we're telling it the right way, that it's been, that everyone who wants to be involved can be involved. It's a unique opportunity, and I'm really excited to see the path that we're walking down in order to really tell the story.
Absolutely, Mr. President. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Clark, and thank all of the various groups in Africatown, citizens, descendants, interested stakeholders who have really put in a lot of time. Commissioner Ludgood working with us on the Heritage House, and then we've got the Welcome Center that's moving steadily ahead. So there's a lot going on in Africatown that we can really be proud of.
Amen.
Madam City Clerk.
23891, accept deeds for the acquisition of property for the McGregor Avenue widening project. 31892, authorize a grant application to the National Fitness Campaign for the 20.
Oh, excuse me. Could we go back to the property on McGregor? Is Chris with us?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Hey there. I was looking for your name on my screen. Chris, I had written you some questions. I think I sent it to the entire council that I had about these acquisitions and temporary easements and permanent. And did you get any information from the administration?
I contacted them and asked them to be on the Zoom and ready to answer questions.
Okay.
Who's here?
Okay. And you sent them the questions?
I did, yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
I don't recall.
Nick and I are here to answer those questions.
Okay.
And so who is this speaking?
Michelle Melton.
Okay, all right. Okay, so did you had, are you gonna answer the questions? Do you
Yeah,
want those questions?
We can go down the line because Nick's here too. The whole funding arrangements and 80-20 split where we're responsible for 20%, but we get help from the county. Nick knows more details about that. But when it comes to the easements, I don't know why they cost so much. They have to get appraised and they have to get review appraised per ALDOT requirements. And I guess the bigger picture is that ALDOT requirements are the Federal Highway Administration's requirements for the Uniform Relocation Act. So that trickles down like that.
Okay. I noticed that the original paperwork, and I'm sure Joel's very familiar with this since it's in his district, but the original paperwork is 2012, which expired in 15. But the agreement was for, I think, 2.4 million for this process total, and the city would be responsible for 20% of that in the acquisition or temporary easements of property. Could someone explain that to me? And it did say that if it went over and it was rejected, the city was responsible. So when we're approving this, do we know where ALDOT stands on these amounts?
We do. This is one of the NPO projects, much like Ziegler. We have the agreements, and all of these agreements that route through the council for approval. All the numbers in there are estimated numbers. They make that very clear to us. ALDOT knows that all the steps along the way, be it the real estate acquisition or even the construction project when it gets let, are just estimated. So they recognize that the prices will go up and will go down. So the $2.4 million number that you referenced, that was, I believe, the number that was in the real estate agreement that was entered into with ALDOT. Most of these projects will have a design agreement, spells out the overall project. It'll have a real estate agreement and then a subsequent construction and utilities agreement, all of which I believe have already gone through the city council. As Michelle mentioned, these are required because there's federal aid dollars in it. It's required to follow the Federal Uniform Relocation Act. So it's a very stringent standard to establish these dollar amounts. Appraisals have to be, in some cases, reappraised, and then the appraisals get reviewed by a secondary appraisal, and then they get reviewed by ALDOT and internally. So they're scrutinized to the nth degree before y'all ever see them.
Okay, I've just never seen temporary easements be in the thousands of dollars for maybe 0.3 of an acre. I mean, why is this coming in so high? And can you compare anything to Ziegler, which was a much longer corridor that was also an MPO, recent or current MPO program?
Well, all I can tell you about the amount, it's a following of the federal aid process, and it's based on an appraisal of the property. So more expensive property is going to be more expensive to acquire. Any of the other MPO projects where real estate has been acquired have followed this exact same process of either acquiring permanent real estate or temporary. I mean, the goal with acquiring the temporary is only acquiring enough to be able to facilitate the design so that when we're done. So the alternative would have been to acquire it all, and you would have had to pay a much, much higher price to acquire it. In most instances, these are to tie slopes either up or down to make the property, make the roadway, the design fit within the built topography.
There was one that was a slope design. Yeah, that was like 8,300.
This is the third set, I believe, of these same types of purchases that come before the council. I've already passed 2. So again, we're following suit with what we've previously done.
Okay. If we could just get some comparison, I'm literally, I've just never seen a temporary easement. It's usually, we're going to borrow this for, I guess it's the 3 years, however long you think the construction could possibly be. But I've never seen thousands of dollars on a temporary easement.
You
I
have to
mean,
see
it
a
just,
comparison because again, it's unique to a specific location. I mean, if we were
Yeah.
acquiring property somewhere else, it would be unique to that specific location. So, I mean, I can assure you, Michelle and I have no latitude in anything that we do here. It's against a very, very stringent.
no. Okay, all right. And so you're saying that AlDOT has already approved this amount. So we're not going to be stuck if they come back and say, we're not paying this amount. How much have we already allocated towards acquisition? If this is the third round of parcels, and this is the end of it then?
It's not the end. We'll have some counter offers coming in that AlDOT's already approved too. Quick math is the first was $190,000, the first batch. And then the second.
And that was our 20%? Or is that the total? See, I'm not sure I understand what we're approving, the 20% expenditure, or is that the 100% that we'll get 80% back?
100%.
Okay, and 80% should come back to the city, is what you're saying?
Yes.
That's correct.
You're looking at $291,800 right now with this third batch for acquisitions.
And how much did they allocate? The 2.4 million for, or was that the design and the construction? What is the 2.4 million that goes back to 2012?
That's the estimated real estate costs associated with the project. I mean, the MPO, the stuff that Kevin Harrison puts out has all of those pieces of the project broken out. And so that was the estimated cost of the real estate.
Okay. And for my information for next week, can I find out what Ziegler's allocation was for real estate on that particular project, since it's current one? I don't need it this minute, and this is something I don't believe we'll vote on it today. So can wait for that for next week, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rich. Madam City Clerk.
31892, authorize a grant application to National Fitness Campaign for the 2020-2021 Fit Lot Grant of $150,000.
Mr. President, can we get that?
Mr. Vice President?
Yeah, could we get some more information on that?
Is there someone affiliated with the administration with more information relative to that agenda item?
It'd be nice to know which parks are going to apply, or which parks will get this equipment, this walking stuff equipment, exercise equipment.
I guess we wait to see how much we get. I don't know.
Well, the grant, they're looking for 150. I just would like to know that.
No match, right?
No, it's a good thing. Maybe they'll have it for next week.
Mr. Vice President, hopefully they'll have it either at 10:30 or disseminate that information to us between now and next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
37893, approve the certificate of public convenience and necessity for the Busy Bee Carrier and Transportation Service for shuttle service. 47894 and 895 are the vacations on Conception Street and St. Emmanuel Street. 60, 896, 897, 898, 899, 900, and 901 are determining appropriations to the Mobile Area Disc Golf Association, Restoration Deliverance Outreach Ministry, Providence Foundation for Festival of Flowers, the United Way of Southwest Alabama, the City of Mobile Human Relations Commission, serve a public purpose and authorize payment, and authorizing the award for the November 2020 Firefighter of the Month. Announcement.
Any announcements from members of the council?
Mr. President.
Dave?
Madam Clerk, you ended up on the Firefighter of the Month. How about did you mention 6899, 900, and 901?
I did. I read all those at once and because they're the same.
Okay.
And then I did the 898.
Okay, so the ones I have that we're gonna waive the rule on today are 47, 894, and 895, which are the vacations. And then the discretionary fund allocations, and then the award to the firefighter of the month, correct?
Yeah.
John?
That's right. That appears to be straight.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, I do have Reggie Hill signed for the public hearings on the vacation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any further announcements? All righty, hearing none.